We are just returning from our founders lunch powered by Brex. This is Jimmy over here, part of the Brex team. I know a lot of the founders are thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Brex, for our awesome partnership. This lunch is always one of my favorite parts because our leadership team just gets to sit down with the founders, spend some time helping them understand how to leverage Capital Factory, how to work together over the next couple of years as we kick off this partnership and build some of these personal relationships. Always a pretty impactful part, so thank you so much, Brex. I'm Brian Chambers, I'm our president, one of our co-founders here at Capital Factory, but I'm really just one of more than 24 people that are on our venture team. These are probably some of the faces on our venture team that our founders might be a little bit more familiar with, but even this group, we're supported by another 55 people who are working around the clock, are one of 75 Dream Teamers really working around the clock to help our portfolio of startups succeed. It's this team that helps support now. We're encroaching on almost $300 million in assets under management and built an incredible portfolio. And really it's all about helping y'all make the connections that you need to scale your businesses. So get to know the Dream Teamers in the room as well. It's this team that helps make those introductions. We believe there are 3 universal truths of every single startup. It's the connections that you need. It's connections to the money, the customers, and the talent that you need to scale. As Josh was talking about earlier, it's this team that's incentivized, they're really measured to help you guys succeed by making a lot of those connections. Whether you're just getting started and you're coming out of stealth, whether you've already raised 10 or 15 or $50 million, and you're already earning millions of dollars, it's connections in this network that are going to help unlock and take y'all to the next level, and those are the ones that we're ready and we're excited to help you uncover. You're likely here because you want to take advantage of a lot of the growth and momentum here happening in Texas. Texas has a whole lot of momentum. Capital Factory is a bit like the API to reach into Texas and grab a lot of the relationships that help power the ecosystem, business and industry across Texas. And we have a community of seriously helpful LPs, and they're the ones that are invested in your business, that want you to help, want you to succeed, and are incentivized, have upside with what you're working on. We talked about, where's Lyndon? Is Lyndon here in the room? Lyndon runs our VIP team, our VIP program, and he's the one that helps manage every day. It's incredible people like the ones you see on the screen that are walking through Capital Factory, and every single time they come into Capital Factory, whether they know it or not, there are startups that are going to pitch them. And it's Lyndon and a pretty big team of people that help organize all that and help create those opportunities. So please be sure to meet Lyndon, introduce yourself, make sure he gets to know your business as well, because these are the types of VIPs when they're coming through. We want to make sure you're getting to meet your dream investor, your dream partner that could make a real big impact on your business as well. We have a corporate and government partnerships team. We work with a lot of organizations to help make sure they're meeting the startups that they need to make an impact on their big business. If you happen to see a logo up here on the screen of a dream customer or a strategic partner that you're excited to work with, please make a note. Please let our team know so we can help make that connection sooner than later. It's been an awesome year. Firefly Aerospace landed on the moon earlier this year. They also went public. This is a story most of us here in the community probably know this year because they've been in the news so much. They've got a lot of attention. What a lot of people don't know is this was our very first hardware investment back in 2014. So we've been working with Firefly Aerospace for a decade now, and we're still working with Firefly Aerospace. I think it's indicative of what a journey and what a relationship with Capital Factory looks like.
Still working with them after that time.
Yeah, probably one of the only ones working with them after that amount of time. But today this slide is actually up here because one of the original founders of Firefly Aerospace, Maureen Gannon, went on to start another business, Crossbow. She started Crossbow. It was out in the Bay Area. They built solid-state rocket motors. They've now built a pretty amazing rocket motor campus here in town in Luling, Texas. They relocated the business to Texas from the Bay Area, and just this week they won $191 million from the Air Force and the Pentagon to help scale their business. This is a connection and a relationship that Capital Factory has helped power. They leaned really hard into our Cornerstone Fed Supernova, and a lot of those outcomes came from that as well. So, two-time founder with Capital Factory, another one we're still supporting, and just recognizing some of their success coming from the connections stemming from the Capital Factory. So we're cheering on Marine and Crossbow. I want to share a couple of announcements and a couple of events coming up. Here tomorrow in Austin, we host Cup of Capitals. It's always a great opportunity to step into the room, meet the team, catch up with the team, meet some mentors, meet other people that are in the community, talk about your business. Please join us if you're here in Austin. We've got one coming up in Houston on the 13th. We've got one coming up in Dallas on November 14th. Hope to see y'all there. Always great opportunities to get our community together in these, the cities across Texas. Austin Tech Week, another Cornerstone event right around the corner. This is coming up October 20th through 24th. There's an awesome startup crawl. If it's something that you want to participate in, I highly recommend it. Morgan Odell, who's raising her hand, please talk to her. She can get you totally plugged in, help make sure you're starting there, kicking off the week, making some awesome connections. So welcome to First Look. This is a... Yeah.
Also, last week we had our grand opening of our new DC office. And who was out there? Anybody?
Yep.
A bunch of people. Awesome. It was great. It was so cool. We are basically intentionally right between the White House and the Capitol, which is about 10 minutes for each of them. So the idea is like anybody that's a staffer or working in any of those places can duck out and come to something at our place. And if they get called standing outside and there's a big line of people, and they were like, "Is this like some new restaurant?" Like, it was like probably the best compliment we could have gotten. And yeah, super well attended. And then we had an event there, our Fed Supernova DC the next day, which was our version of Fed Supernova there. Again, like just totally awesome. And I believe our calendar is basically full the rest of the year. Like I don't think you can book anything else. Like it's full of stuff happening the whole year. So and it's a membership model, and we have over 500 members, like paying members, the way we have members here, signed up already as members the day we opened our doors. So it's just off to a great start. If you're in DC, you should look at the calendar and see what's going on there. If you live in DC or spend a lot of time there, you should join in and become a member so you get invited to all the cool stuff. Lots more exciting stuff coming. So yeah, hope to see you in DC. StationDC.org.
Super proud moment I had watching our team up there bringing that Capital Factory energy to DC. I think it was an incredibly awesome event. I know our team, I see a number of y'all in here who showed up and did what we do, and run our playbook to do that. It's a ton of work, and I know he's already making a tremendous impact. Really exciting what's going on in Washington, DC. All right, so welcome to First Look. If this is your first time being at First Look, this is a private event that we do for our investors, for our mentors, for our staff, our team, so we can get to know the founders, so we can become more familiar with what they're working on, so we can begin to make the introductions that are going to help them go on to succeed scaling their companies. You should have been emailed a pitch list. You can follow these businesses along on pitch.vc. You can scan some of the QR codes and access them, but follow them there. This is the kickoff. After every startup's pitch, we've got a running order over here. I'll show you that one more time. There'll be some one-on-one meetings for all the founders in an effort to maybe kick things off, making a great connection for y'all. Stick around here. We'll keep the conversation going with happy hour. Again, this is the pitch order one more time. It's going to stay up over here so you can see it as the event goes on. Our favorite part, let's get this party started. Let me welcome up Nick Spiller to do that.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome back to First Look. Welcome to October in Austin, one of the hottest months we have, one of the exciting months in Austin. We're getting cooler actually from a literal standpoint, but there's a lot going on, and we're kicking it off here at First Look. Thank you for joining us. Venture Associate team, Luis, Drew, and myself, a lot of us have been working really hard every day trying to get some awesome companies up on the stage per usual, and I think we've accomplished the goal. introductions. We're going to go through the presentations, move to some one-on-one meetings. Everyone here has one challenge only. So think of one meaningful introduction you can make for at least one of these founders on the stage. And you just think of the network effects of that as if we can get one introduction from each of you, y'all count two. That's hundreds of introductions that will lead to meaningful opportunities. And really that's the essence of what we do here at Capital Factory. So keep that in mind, and if our team can help facilitate any introductions, connections, we're more than happy to do that, and we are ready to do it. So without further ado, we're going to kick it off with a special presentation from a company from Alpha School. A lot of y'all probably heard of Alpha School, really interesting new take on high school, helping students thrive beyond the classroom, and a really interesting approach to education with that. We partner with them here at Capital Factory, and here is one of their students to tell us about their startup, Berry. Let's welcome Alex to the stage. Welcome, Alex.
When I was younger, I used to struggle a lot with my mental health. I was around 8 years old when my parents first got divorced, and my mom saw me struggling every day and decided to put me into therapy. Therapy, it was the magical solution to all my problems, right? Well, not exactly. I was pushed into a very cold room, stuck to talk to a 68-year-old woman. I was 8, guys. I don't know if you know 8-year-olds, but we don't really get along with 68-year-old women. And whenever she would give me advice, it just felt super disconnected. And on the off chance she would give me good advice, we only met once bi-weekly. And so all of the feedback she gave me was really hard to implement to my own life. Now, millions of teenagers are struggling with day-to-day problems. And they have only really 2 outlets to go to when they want to talk to someone about these problems. The first is they have friends, and friends are relatable, they're validating, but they don't really get you anywhere. They're not going to give you the advice that you need. And the second, you have professionals. So this could be a therapist, this could be a parent, this could be a teacher teaching you about social emotional learning at school. But I don't know if you all know here, we don't really resonate with that advice from these old people. Sorry, guys. And so that's why I decided to build Berry. That's Berry. It's an AI-powered plush for teens' mental health. It's not for severe depression or severe anxiety. It's for these day-to-day problems that we come across. I like to call them micro-stressors. So maybe you got in a fight with a friend, or maybe you got a bad grade on a test. Maybe you're going through your parents' divorce and you just want someone to talk to. That's what Berry's for. There are 3 really interesting things about Berry. The first is that it's habit anchored. And so every night you can talk to Berry for 5 to 10 minutes about the problems that you're facing, or maybe you just had a good day and you want to talk to it. The second is that it's very low barrier to entry. Therapy is $150 to $200 an hour. Berry is $150 one time and $20 a month as a subscription. It's also not a random adult that you don't want to talk to. It's a stuffed animal, and you can customize its personality to fit what you want to be around. And lastly, it gives you consistent follow-ups. The big part of therapy that is helpful is you actually creating habits. And so after these 5 to 10 minute conversations, Berry will send you a text message to make sure that you're actually implementing the advice it gives you into your own life. Now, I'm very grateful because I've had lots of progress. I've raised around $40,000 in non-dilutive funding, and I'm currently raising pre-seed up to $400,000. I have a working prototype, which I'll demo in a little bit, and I have 10 back at my school, which these guys like to play around with, and I'm getting good feedback from it. And then lastly, experts really love us. This is important. I want therapists, psychologists, even previous founders on my board of advisors to make sure that parents feel safe and secure to give this product to their kids. Now, thank you for listening to me, but the most exciting part of this presentation is going to be the demo. So let's get to it. So the really interesting thing about Berry is that it has all of these different personalities. This one's named Cappy because it's a capybara. Hey, I heard some laughs. There you go. Okay, so Cappy's gonna guide me through a little reflection. Let's hope you can hear him.
Welcome back to the class. Glad you could make it. So, we were just getting into it about your friend Shloka and how tired you are. Hey, welcome back to the chat. Glad you could make it. So, we were just getting into it about your friend Shloka.
Yes, we were. I'm feeling really sad about my day-to-day. I'm in front of a lot of people right now, and I'm really nervous, and I don't really know what to do. Can you help me?
Oh, hey, I hear you're feeling sad and nervous right now in front of people. That sounds really tough. It's okay to feel that way, and it doesn't make you any less valuable or capable. Sometimes just acknowledging it is the first step. What's going through your mind in this moment?
Well, I'm demoing you, and I don't know, I feel nervous. Do you have like one tip for me so I can feel a little bit less stressed?
Oh, I see. You're demoing me right now? That's a lot of pressure. Being in the spotlight when you feel vulnerable is super tough. I totally get wanting a tip. When I feel exposed like that, sometimes I try to just focus on one person who seems friendly. Not to stare, but just connect. Does that make any sense?
Okay, great. I'm just gonna look at Josh. Thank you. Okay, that's Barry. Thanks so much, guys. Sorry.
Excellent presentation. I apologize to the rest of the founders. I forgot to tell you there's going to be an incredible high school student to set the bar super high with a great presentation. Never fails. But thank you, Alex. I think it's Alpha School's homecoming today, so they might be heading out soon. But appreciate our partnership. Very impressed. Excited to see the next company I'll send our way at First Look in December. Without further ado, we're going to dive into the Capital Factory portfolio companies. This first founder we're going to introduce showed up in this room to an event we host monthly called Fiesta. It's hosted by a community partner, actually some founders in our portfolio. They hosted it and I believe met Nina, who runs our federal team dual use center, and got super plugged in. And I've had the pleasure of getting to know Marcus from DeepInvent and what they're up to. So let's welcome Marcus to the stage.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Josh, for putting this on. I've been a part of this community as a mentor for a while, so it's really exciting to be on this side of the table. I have a new appreciation for it, and thank you for Barry. Now I have new coping skills that I can get through this pitch. DeepInvent, what we are is, it's frontier AI for patents. It's the first AI that can invent new intellectual property and then patent it in any industry. So it actually generalizes. So a little story about DeepInvent and kind of how this got kicked off was, at the end of last year, we were saturating our benchmarks, and we were having human subject matter experts rate the inventions, and it was starting to perform really well, scary well. So we decided we need to have it invent something that we're the subject matter experts in better than anyone else. So what did we do? We fed it its own architecture. We said, DeepInvent, this is what you are, this is how you work. How would you innovate on yourself? And what it came up with was this thing called recursive evolutionary inference, which was about 80% the same as what was in my handwritten engineering notebook and nowhere else. That was a product of 8 months of thinking, and this thing did it in 8 minutes. And I had a little bit of an identity crisis as an innovator, but also I realized that the innovation game had officially changed. And it generated its own patent about its own innovation, about its own architecture, becoming the first AI to do that. The issue or the problem that we're trying to solve is patents and innovation are slow, they're expensive, and they're unpredictable, but they're the foundation of US GDP, of global GDP. Patents and innovation are the engine of economic growth and geopolitical security. I learned that when I was working on my PhD, studying innovation. I was asked to work with the Office of the German Chancellor on innovation at the societal level. And I really saw this in play of how critical it was, both for economic growth and geopolitical security. And then later in the semiconductor industry, I helped on innovation with some of these same processes to help solve this issue of copycats. Technical moats in the age of AI are measured in months, not years. We need to accelerate. It's a geopolitical imperative. Patents help prevent copycats. DeepInvent is purpose-built to actually accelerate the patenting process, but not just patenting, the invention workflow that leads up to the patents. And so you can see that this is the system working there. The way that it works is very unique. It uses knowledge graphs, and so when you input an idea, then it will pull in all of the scientific literature about that idea up to the minute into that knowledge graph. Then it will also do the same for the patents and the industry data. So it's like you have a scientist, a technologist, and an industry analyst all in one room debating on what should be invented, and then a patent attorney that helps you draft it. It identifies the white space, generates new intellectual property in that white space, and then allows you to draft a corresponding IP. We have over 700 companies in beta: Google, Amazon, GE, Genentech, And I'm very excited to announce this, just kicked off a pilot with MIT to do IP harvesting and a pilot with the UC system. And I wanted to share that we are raising a pre-seed round of $2 million. It's anchored by Antler. We've raised $600K of that so far. We're going to be launching an internal IP firm to provide end-to-end legal service for those people generating innovations on the platform for our premium tier of customers, and bring on GTM talent, go-to-market talent, and generate $2 million in ARR is what we're looking to enable with that capital. One more thing I wanted to share with you, which is an example of how I think we're going to make the next 100 years of progress in the next 10 years. This is an example of a prototype that was generated by somebody at Amazon. I'm going to let you read the prototype, telling you how it works itself. This was the result. So this is an augmented reality e-reader. This is a result of an Amazon Lab 126 engineer saying, I want a better e-reader, and then co-inventing with our system a way to speed read 400% faster, and then it auto-modulates the speed of the text depending on the complexity that it detects of the text. So if it's a neuroscience textbook, it goes slower. If it's a news article, it goes faster. And so this is an example of how he went from the concept to a fully filed patent in an hour, and then drafted, and then vibe coded a prototype over a week, and then he ended up deciding to leave his job at Amazon and go and do this company full time. And now this is a full-fledged startup, and he's out raising capital. So if you want to get in touch, you want to learn, you get access to the beta. We can get you some secret special features. You can find me here. And I want to just thank Capital Factory for making this opportunity and this community what it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marcus. It's always exciting. One of our mentors reaches out proactively saying they want to join and partner with us on their new company, and that is quite a concept. All right, moving right along, we've got about a third of the companies today are from here in Austin, about a third of them from other major Texas cities, and a third of them flew in from out of state. This is an entrepreneur who we're introduced by Eric Stober, CFO, and if you go to Fed Supernova, I think one of the keynotes, you hear a lot of discussion around the innovation on the battleground in Ukraine, especially around aerospace, drones, et cetera, and I think I've always wanted to get involved in that somehow, and we've more or less been kind of spinning this company out of Ukraine and setting it up, and we're here to learn about it from Daniel and talk about the new name. I think it's Stellar Jet. So welcome, Daniel from Stellar Jet.
Thank you, Nick. I have to admit, I screwed up. I saw Morgan's email, and I thought it said it had 40 minutes for this pitch, and I've got 4. So if you'll just bear with me. Imagine an aircraft, silent, no emission, that's able to pick you up at your house in your neighborhood and drop you at the office. Imagine that aircraft able to pick you up and take you to your lake house. Now imagine your lake house is in Minnesota. Imagine your office is in Dallas. That's been the promise of electric aviation from the beginning, is a shrinking of the world. And electric aviation has failed to deliver on those promises. I mean, electric aviation started off with 500 miles of range, now 250. Now the best electric aircraft are offering 50 miles of range. And they're not even close to anything close to civilian certification. So we became interested in this space, but one of the things that we really focused on was that extreme lack of range. And we said, how can we do better? We explored hydrogen. We spent 2 years on various hydrogen systems, gaseous hydrogen, liquid hydrogen. And none of those we felt could meet the civilian certification requirements. And so this is where Ukraine comes in. We went to our Ukrainian industry partner, and we said, we have this problem to solve around hydrogen. And they said, have you thought about solid state hydrogen? We said, no, we have no idea what that is. So we hired a team. We literally took some old Soviet space IP out of a filing cabinet at the basement of this company in Ukraine, and we developed it last November to meet our energy density requirements. We've seen really exciting stuff come out of it. For those that don't know, solid-state hydrogen is a nanomatrix that we're able to apply energy to. It expands, and the hydrogen bonds solidly to that nanomatrix. And then we're able to reactivate that hydrogen to use as a fuel source. This is the electric layout of our aircraft. Solid-state hydrogen features prominently. Stuck. Oh, there it goes. Oh. Yeah, just go back one. So solid-state hydrogen, the DOE promised energy densities or requested industry deliver on energy densities of, and these numbers aren't going to make a lot of sense except to know that we're exceed them drastically. They targeted 6.5% gravimetric density by 2026, and they said that's when the technology would become economically viable, 6.5%. The state-of-the-art industry is 1 to 3%. We're at 30% gravimetric capacity. Our 30 kilowatt storage is about the size of a small fire extinguisher. You can, if you were to take 3 of those and put it into a Tesla Model 3, you'd replace the batteries in a Tesla Model 3 for about 40 pounds worth of weight and maybe a battery, you know, a few feet on either side. Next slide. So this is our development status. We've put about $15 million into the company. We've raised $1.5 million in pre-order deposits. A lot of the money that we've put into the company has been through our Ukrainian aerospace partner. It's that company's called Fed JSC, and also one of the largest aircraft engine manufacturers in the world, another Ukrainian company, Motor Sich, who helped us develop our propulsion unit. The aircraft is at TRL-6. We just got our scale demonstrator out of paint last week. It's going into the test stand. It's about the size of this stage, 13-foot wingspan. It's really cool. And our solid-state hydrogen technology is TRL-7. We're just starting. We've built a prototype. We're putting it into a bus in Slovakia in November, and we're really excited for those developments. Next slide. This is some of the traction we just talked about. One of the things that's really interesting is we signed an LOI with a couple of the Ukrainian aerospace partners to kind of codify our relationship, and they've agreed to supply $40 million worth of design, fabrication, prototyping services in the next 3 years. With a capital raise of $10 million. And so we're hoping that delivers a lot of value for our investors. Next. And this is our team. Alexei Popov, he's Swiss-Ukrainian. He has a PhD in aircraft engine design. Ed Boyle is former West Point CFO. He has a lot of experience, you know, hedge fund, and then myself, of course. And then one of the people I really wanted to point out is Dr. Los was the former head of Antonov, which is a large Ukrainian aircraft company. They're famous for building the largest aircraft in the world. And so thanks Capital Factory for having us. Nick, Brian, Josh, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel. It's great to have you here. I think we're going to do a little battery switch on the clicker, but keep in mind, one introduction for one of these founders would go a long way, and we're happy to help set that up. Also, if y'all didn't know, Austin Tech Week's around the corner. If there's some way you can plug into that, we would love to do it. And I think we're ready to keep on going. All right, so our fourth company to present today is in from Houston, Texas. We met them through Craig Cummings, made the introduction, I think, reached out, In-Q-Tel reached out, made the intro to him, and we're excited to welcome Bobby to the stage from Deployable Energy. Welcome, Bobby.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gents. I'll do my best to speak English today, if you can pick up the accent. All right, so yeah, Bobby Gallagher, CEO, Chief Technology Officer of Deployable Energy. I might spend a little bit of time talking about myself, and then I'll talk about the company. So I'm a deep tech energy entrepreneur. My first company, we solved the Deepwater Horizon problem. So if you remember, Mark Wahlberg was in a movie about it called Macondo. Big blowout in the Gulf, billion-dollar rig sunk, 11 lives lost, largest corporate liability event in history. The CEO had a bad day. You know, he didn't do a good job doing a PR post the event. My company, with about $15 million in venture capital, beat about $2 billion worth of investment in that space. Small team, knew the problem, knew the physics really well, and we hit that out of the park. It took about 2 years to get any traction. We needed to put about 400 pounds of explosives on the bottom of the ocean, 2 miles down. It didn't land well when we told people that was the solution, but we knew that's what was needed to make it happen. We found the right people, we hit the right doors, we got the right introductions, and hopefully we find the right one in the room here for Deployable Energy. And once that happened, we basically had every super major, Exxon, Chevron, we had every super national oil company, Aramco, etc., on board within 4 years. COVID bumped that company onto an acquisition track, and it was acquired a few years back. Ever since then, I've been working on Deployable Energy. Energy is the limiting factor in nearly everything we do. We've kind of forgotten about that because we've just outsourced it to China, to Korea, to Japan over the last 30 years, but it's coming back in a big way. Yeah. AI's been driving it. National security, contested logistics in the Pacific's been driving it. And the only way we're going to be able to solve this problem is through nuclear. I truly believe that. It's not going? Next slide, please. So the future of fossil fuels is micronuclear. And Deployable Energy, we're a Texas-based sovereign startup that's going to secure the backbone of critical minerals, defense, and critical infrastructure like data centers. Next slide, please. I've spent the last 3 years building a phenomenal team and trying to understand what the conventional wisdom has been in the space. So my team members include national lab experts, Dr. Mark Ho, he's basically like an encyclopedia on nuclear. Dr. Lance Moll, Berkeley-trained nuclear engineer. He's worked in so many different startups as an early employee. He can make anything happen. And Sanjay, ex-CIA, ex-State Department, ex-DOE, he's seen every reactor that's come through. He was actually supposed to go represent the US at the IEA, but instead he's come join us. He thinks we've got the best solution and the best team to execute on this problem. Next slide, please. And so the problem's always been that micronuclear is going to be the holy grail of energy. It's been around since the Jetsons or since the 60s. We're going to have these reactors everywhere, but it's never quite happened. It never quite worked. And it's because of conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom says that a small reactor, you need to increase enrichment, you need to use exotic materials, you need to put all this combustion shielding, et cetera, in place. And due to a number of different reasons, prohibitive restrictions have stopped that technology from being proliferated. We were able to break down that conventional wisdom and understand what is the key drivers to ensuring that microreactors can work. So we can't have any of these high-enriched fuels. We can't use exotic materials. We need to figure out a way to not have cumbersome shielding in a lot of the different applications so we can deploy it. And we need to make sure the regulations change. Now, the regulations are changing, but we've solved for the other three. If we click the next slide, we've made the Unity nuclear battery. It's a 1 megawatt microreactor. It's transportable in a 20-foot container. It runs for 5 years without needing to be refueled. It will fundamentally change the energy complex. It's factory built, it's easy to site, easy to deploy, it's safe, it's inherently safe. There's no way that you can have a meltdown event in the system. We've run it through all the key experts at Idaho National Labs, at Los Alamos National Labs, and Lloyd's Register. We've got statements of endorsements from those bodies. If I hit the next slide, please. With that, we're able to secure tens of billions of dollars in letters of intent with customers. A data center in Utah with Invictus Sovereign is the first big customer that we're deploying with. That's a $10 billion contract. We expect them to help fund the first of a kind regulatory approvals and to deploy the first units late 2029. Next slide. So, unlike the rest of the field, and there is a number of different startups in this space, we avoid those three deadly sins of microreactors: that high enrichment, that exotic materials, and those site or logistical burdens. We're the only ones that don't sit in that Venn diagram up there that's named in the DOE Advanced Reactor Pilot Program. And with this is how we're going to win this race to fundamentally change the energy complex. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Brian, for your time here, and look forward to speaking to you all and hopefully finding a connection.
Just to be clear, you should be thanking your VA who brought you in, not us.
So in that case, thank you, Win. All right, moving right along. A lot of y'all know we have a great relationship with Tim Draper, Draper Associates. Every year we have someone at the Draper Summit. Drew Yashar went out this year and met two companies that we brought in. We're going to hear from one of them right now, in from San Francisco, California. I want to welcome Drake from Orchestra OS. Welcome, Drake.
Test. Okay, can you go next slide, please? Cities make trillion-dollar decisions every year on public safety, infrastructure, insurance, mobility, but they rely on outdated and incomplete data. At Orchestra, we're fixing all of those problems by building AGI for cities. So we're building a unified 4K camera network across San Francisco, and it's basically its own private CCTV camera network. We partner with local businesses and put 4K cameras on the side of their storefronts. They're recording 24/7 with zero operating costs. Kind of as a joke, kind of as a joke, we put cameras on every tier 1 VC of San Francisco. So we have cameras on Andreessen Horowitz, on Kleiner Perkins, Excel, GoTo, Google Ventures. So if there's any other VCs in here, maybe you want to spy on these guys. So we've deployed 100 cameras across San Francisco, and in the last 2 weeks, we've deployed about 50. But the cameras, it's one part of the problem. The other part is with all these camera networks, it's just latent data, it's raw data, and you can't really do anything with that. So we put state-of-the-art AI on top of every camera, and it's essentially a brain for every camera. And so with these AI models, it translates the raw video feeds into actionable and real-time intelligence. And our AI can recognize people, faces, behaviors, cars, colors. It can literally do anything. It's actually kind of creepy because it's actually too good. Next slide, please. But at the core, we're a data company. We're owning the infrastructure, which is a private unified camera network in each city. We're owning the data because we partner with private businesses. And then we own the AI. We're literally building our own custom models that don't exist because nobody has the data to build them. And with the same infrastructure, we can solve so many trillion-dollar problems within cities. For example, for insurance, if we have this unified camera network and we build our AI out, we can automate car crash claims for insurance companies. For hedge funds, they're always looking for unique alpha and data sets. We can build an extremely granular data set for hedge funds. For commercial real estate, we can build the most accurate location analytics tool, and I could keep going on. Next slide, please. What I think is the most important problem to solve is in public safety, especially because I live in San Francisco. So we built the ultimate public safety tool. Literally within 48 hours of building it, we solved a major crime, and now we're recording thousands of crimes a week in San Francisco. Within 2 months of building this, we secured a $250,000 contract. I literally built this inside the Real-Time Crime Center of San Francisco. I was pretty scared because I walked in and I was expecting to see some super cool technology, but they didn't have anything. There's actually like a Mark Wahlberg movie, and you know they were like partying, and there's like whatever, the strippers is playing there. So there's just literally no technology. There's just Mark Wahlberg movies, and it was crazy. So that's why I decided to pivot and really build in public safety. Go next slide, please. So again, like we have live demos. Basically what this tool is like if Skynet, Google Search, and Palantir had a baby and was rolled up into one product, can do live demos after. It's super cool. We go next slide, please. Our team is pretty great. I started coding when I was 10. Our COO scaled her family business to $7 million in sales. Our chief data officer was literally the former COO of Citadel Securities. And our chief technology officer, we just poached him out of Drive VC, sitting over there. He's done some cool stuff like work at NASA JPL for autonomous rovers on Mars. And then he also had an autonomous microscope company. That technology is now being used at Harvard Med. And then, so it's been a really busy summer for us. Like in the past 6 weeks, we've added on 15 strategic angels, people all the way from, you know, alumni in the White House underneath the Trump and Biden administration, early Palantir people, scouts at Excel, Andreessen Horowitz, and Kraft Ventures. And, you know, we're just building out this repertoire. We're excited because in 1 month, we're going to come out of stealth on stage at TechCrunch Disrupt. But we hope to connect with you guys while we're here in Austin. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Drake. Thank you very much for being here. I think we have a clicker back in action now, hopefully. So moving right along and turning to the back half of our presentation, I'm here to welcome Meltem from Concrete Engine. Welcome, Meltem.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Luis, reaching out and finding us. And thank you, everybody, being here. I guess it's working. Oh, the battery. But I can yell. Awesome. Yes. So who heard about AI? So AI is everywhere, huh? What about the compute? Who heard about NVIDIA computation? Everyone. So have you ever done computation at a scale? Have you ever heard of AI first initiatives which never saw the light of the day? So we are taking a different step and building infrastructure from bottom up. So we are starting, our mode is hardware integrated software. So we are building the orchestration for everybody, everyday people in order to build scalable AI solutions. So next slide, I guess. Okay, yes, it did. So as I said, GPU is not the problem. Everybody can go buy GPUs or hear about GPUs, $1 billion moving along. But the engineers, we don't have engineers who can deal with the infrastructure, how to deal with the Slurm, TensorFlow, all kind of different stuff. Industry is so regulated. They speak Cyberswarm talked about the sovereign system, private data, private computation. Unpredictable costs. That's one of the biggest reasons that you look at the AI and AI projects as the cost centers. So IT is cost center. All the IT projects, AI projects die. So the last, but one of the most important part is that you have AI, edge AI solutions. You have a lot of drone companies, physical AI companies using Raspberry Pi. That's just putting a Band-Aid on the wound, and then you push that data over the cloud, you have totally different orchestration, different infrastructure. So we are solving this problem at once. The team, most of my team here, most of my technical and operational team comes from Rackspace. Rackspace is another Texas company, and we also have an advisor from DoD. We also have an advisor from the Silicon Valley. We were told that Silicon Valley is the one that can take the risk, but I'm challenging you to take the risk with us and myself. But I'm gonna retire in 3 years. Our founding engineers are standing there. So we love high school students, college students. We are here to train them for the next generation. So what we do, we actually buy the commodity hardware, GPUs, whichever the one, the cheapest one, because we built the orchestration ourselves to meet the performance of those expensive GPUs. So we can talk to the CFOs when we are talking to the CTOs on the same platform. So currently we have customers from pharma to computer vision, agriculture, smart cities, security, fire, and our current investor traction, we got the strategic investment from a data center company called Evolve Holding. They actually host our hardware. We have Chisos Capital. Obviously, we joined Capital Factory. Vulture is another data center that we're partnering with. So up until now, we raised about $600,000 cash and some in-kind donations from Evolve Holding. So we have 2 locations. One is Indiana, and the second one is in Oklahoma. So the market is huge. If you listen to Elon Musk, it's $1 billion. But we are targeting $50 million to $100 million market within 18 months, and we are gonna go from there. So what we are asking is obviously the cash for the pre-seed. We are raising our pre-seed OPEX money, so we are looking for investors to come talk to us.
All right, this next founder is in from Dallas, Texas. Was introduced to Brian and our team from Margot Carter. And I'm excited to welcome to the stage Patrick from Clearsight. Welcome, Patrick.
All right, thank you. Yes, thank you, Luis, as well, for inviting me. We're going to change very different trajectory here. We're going to talk about eyeballs. We're going to focus on eyes. So Clearsight is elevating eye care through a next-generation portfolio of over-the-counter eye therapeutics or ocular therapeutics. And what we're focused on, if I can get to the next slide. Oh, you got me. Is 3. Can you go back one? Yeah. 3 conditions that are daily causes of pain and discomfort for millions of people. Over 50 million people are affected by dry eye disease, contact lens wear and irritation, and pink eye, spending over $5 billion annually to treat these 3 conditions. There are OTC options for dry eye and contact lens wear, but there's no OTC option for pink eye right now. And unmet needs persist for all 3 of these categories. That's biofilm for dry eye, that's irritation and infection for contact lens wear, and there's no treatment for viral pink eye. You may not know this because the current standard of care is prescription antibiotics, but 80% of the pink eye that you see is viral in nature, not bacterial. So those antibiotics don't do anything to shorten the course of disease. Well, patients and parents deserve better. Clearsight will deliver that better solution via the combination of a proven artificial tear and a powerful antimicrobial biopolymer, allowing us to launch 3 products: a dry eye product that can target biofilm, a contact lens rewetting drop that can clean the lenses while you're wearing them, and the first and only over-the-counter treatment for pink eye that also addresses viral pink eye. Now, how do we do this? We do this taking a page out of Wound Care's playbook, leveraging a known, safe and effective, powerful antimicrobial biopolymer that is a GRAS molecule, considered safe by the ECHA, and contains powerful efficacy, antibacterial efficacy, antiviral efficacy, antifungal efficacy, and can also treat biofilm. And why is antifungal efficacy important, you may ask? Well, just as recently as January of this year, Alcon Labs recalled a lot of Sustain Ultra preservative-free eye drops due to potential fungal contamination. So there are large players in the dry eye and the contact lens space, so we're going to be ultra targeted how we go to market. We're going to go B to B to C, and we have 2 commercial partners lined up, the first of which is Dry Eye Rescue, which works with over 4,000 ophthalmologists and optometrists to sell directly dry eye products directly to their patients. And we also have a private label opportunity that can allow us to generate near-term revenue with a company called Covalent Medical, which markets focused vitamins and dry eye drops. And that we can use that revenue to fund and to build our branded portfolio of Clearsight products. On the pink eye side, it'll be incumbent upon us to ensure that parents and patients can get access to those products as quickly as possible. So we'll partner with retail pharmacy to get broad distribution at launch. Now, what does the trajectory look like? We can actually launch our first product under the monograph with the FDA, so we can launch in fewer than 12 months. We can achieve break even in 3 years, and we can grow up to $100 million by years 2032, because these are 3 large markets, and that's less than 5% penetration in each of those 3 large markets. And at over 40% net margin, this becomes a very appealing bolt-on acquisition for strategics in the space. We have a team of eye care experts with unparalleled experience and expertise. Myself, 20+ years experience in Alcon Sight Sciences with an IPO exit, Sight Sciences in 2021. Drs. Acharya and Jimenez are experts in discovery and development. Dr. Acharya also has founded a UVis Research, which is partnered with BARDA and JLabs. And Dr. Jimenez has brought 22 ophthalmic products from bench to bedside or from lab to launch. We've closed a $250,000 pre-seed round where we have formulation developed, IP is filed, and we have a full package of preclinical data complete. We also have a dual use opportunity. We have 4 non-dilutive grants that are funded, 3 of which over $3.5 million with the DOW. And then we are currently raising a $3 million seed round to get launch our product and get our first product to market. 41% of that will be focused on direct production and manufacturing with a US-based contract manufacturer, and then 26% on commercial, 17, 13, and 3% on clinical support for pink eye, and then operations and regulatory, respectively. A clear future is in sight, and we're looking for the right partners to help us get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick from Clearsight. Moving right along, this next entrepreneur is in from Maryland. We met them through our partner, Albert Bayer, Bayer Associates, and here to tell us about iGenQ is Jose. Welcome, Jose.
Thank you.
Keep up the applause. We got a couple more. Keep it going.
So our current silicon technology is already hitting a technical limit. The only way that we can increase processing power nowadays is deploying bigger data centers. That's the reason because we have spent $3 trillion in data centers just in the US. A single quantum computer can have more processing power than every CPU and GPU build, all of them combined. At iGenQ, we are bringing quantum technologies to solve problems today. We have 3 verticals: quantum cybersecurity, quantum communications, and quantum computers. The next one. The transformational power of quantum technology is so deep that it could be even bigger than AI and internet combined. The quantum cybersecurity threat has created an addressable market of 500 billions. Why? Next slide. Because there is 30 trillions worldwide of infrastructure that now need to be protected. A single quantum computer is the most relevant threat that we have to our cryptography nowadays. This is so relevant that every government now has mandated to upgrade their system to be quantum resistant by 2027. At IonQ, we were able to mix quantum mechanics and advanced cryptography in a system that allow us to upgrade and retrofit current infrastructure so we can resist the attack of a quantum computer. The next one. So now is the race. The product is there. We need to do commercialization. We already partnered up with HP Enterprise, with top tier 1 manufacturers to accelerate the deployment of this kind of technology as fast as we can. Next one. In order to distribute this product, we cannot do it alone. There is no time, literally no time, to build a sales force. So we partnered up with the biggest channel reseller worldwide, TD SYNNEX. We have access now to 1,000 value-added resellers that specialize selling to the government. Our main target is the federal agencies. Next one. It's interesting to see how in the last 2 years, you see quantum companies that are using quantum technologies for a future revenue that may or may not come. Those companies nowadays are worth $22 billion. 2 years ago, they were $300 million. IonQ with this phase model will generate more revenue by the end of next year than every of these companies have generated so far. Next one. Our team is more than 100 people worldwide, researchers, commercialization experts. We are working in different form factors in order to deploy this technology as fast as we can. Next one, please. So please join us. We already secured critical partnerships, but nowadays we need all the help that we can get. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Excellent. All right, I think we're gonna go ditch the clicker for the rest of the day, and we'll just be advancing manually. So, all right, moving right along. This next company we met through our friends at Cyber Advisors, based here in Austin, doing some pretty cool stuff. Want to welcome Richard from Voltaic Marine. Welcome, Richard.
All right, hi everybody. So I'm Richard Famdo, founder, CEO of Voltaic Marine. Previously 14 years at Intel, ran electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles for California. Got yelled at by Elon a lot, covered Tesla for 14 years. Next slide. So our team is building electric boats, taking the experience we learned from electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles. We are focusing on all segments. We scale everything we do. So the material selection, the engineering, the powertrain, the software goes to all these segments. Consumer is the largest by volume. It is the highest growing CAGR. Commercial has big deployments. There's electric tugboats, winning $200 million deals in LA. And then defense is going kind of nuts because I think, as we all know, NATO really needs to grow our fleets, and we are struggling to build them, and that's why companies like Stronic exist. Next slide. So this is our ingredients. We call it our platform. Next slide. Our first ingredient is our actual hull design. So we have naval engineers of masters. We have exited founders of companies. We have a patent on our first boat. That one is going to market. That one does have direct customers, pre-orders, and dealers on the pipeline for revenue. We have an unmanned surface vessel patent that I filed within a week because I used Marcus's Deep Invent system. And then Cooley, our law firm, pushed it all through. So we're pretty well protected there. And we build everything from an engineering perspective as an actual skateboard for boats. We have the highest energy density per square foot in the whole industry for battery technology, and that's novel enough that the UPTSO agrees with us. Next slide. So here's the core heart of the vehicle. We design our own batteries. We have 2 battery packs that we standardize every single boat we build on. We can actually scale up to 60 feet. I'll tell you about that in a bit. But everything down from our 19-footer to our 60-foot boat is going to be built into these packs. We can connect them in series parallel. We're getting 150 kilowatts up to 300. We're going to go to megawatt scale on one of the boats. That's 400 volts and higher. This is one of the biggest interests, I think, from the defense side on top of the consumer boats. Next slide. So from a software perspective, I mean, you guys have guys who literally worked on Tesla's car computer here. We are building what we call our VCU, just like Tesla's Autopilot. It's interoperable for systems. It has communication, flexibility with Moog, our weapon system partner. We are building it Fleet OS agnostic. We are not competing with Saronic on that side. We are not competing with Havoc AI. We will probably partner with Havoc AI. The Navy has told us to be fleet agnostic so that we can just focus on the hardware side, which is make the boat float and make everybody be able to use it, including research institutes are looking for things like that. Next slide. So from a factory scale perspective, we have two guys that created Fremont Factory Gen 1 for Tesla. We are building and designing our automation line. We have 6 different partners. This is actual CAD work, so we're just gonna basically build what you see here. The whole thought process here is, hey, we don't have enough laborers in the US, we don't have enough welders. We're 240-ish thousand people short in the maritime industrial base. We're just gonna fix that with robots because China has 10 times more than we do, and we have to start ramping those numbers up. Next slide. So this is effectively how our platform scales. We start with the base architecture. We put that in the consumer line. We have pontoons built off of this. We have a new boat in design that we haven't announced yet. And then we are putting these into our unmanned surface vessel platform, and those are the effectors we'll put them on. And then also, if you want to run a submarine off the batteries, we're happy to give you that. None of us are going to design submarines because we're not those type of engineers. So these are just some fun pictures of our first alpha. This is actually technically TRL 6 and 7. I don't have footage of it running on the water, but you can see some fun stuff we do. We weld a ton of aluminum. I'm a welder myself as well. That's just part of the process. Next slide. You can see us getting through the design process, see some fun hardware. We wrench at the shop. It's great. We have good partners, Garmin, New Eagle, some others too. So this is the end-to-end solution we are now moving into. So to get kind of serious, we had fun boats, now we have USVs. So our first boat's a 38-foot, unlimited range, solar-powered boat at 1 to 3 knots. Moog's our weapon system partner. We're putting Stinger missiles on it, a 30-millimeter gun, a Javelin, and also can fit Harpoon missiles. So now you have a 38-foot boat that fits in a container, ships anywhere in the world, put in the Pacific, and you can go take out a destroyer. With this, that feels like an asymmetric capability there. We have a 60-ton catamaran that's in design. We have partnership with Our Next Energy, which is a very large LFP supplier in the US, building containerized battery energy storage. So now not only do you have electric boats that are unlimited range in the Pacific, you have bases that can get powered on BAS and solar, because that's one of the easiest things to deploy and one of the most common things in the commercial market. Next slide, sorry, I'm running out of time. So this is the whole concept. So the biggest conflict that's probably gonna happen in our generation, the most important, is Taiwan. Taiwan has the leading semiconductors, as I mentioned, from Intel. That's super important because if China takes Taiwan, we will lose the lead in technology for the next 1,000 years. So how do you go put a whole bunch of deterrents in the region? You put a whole bunch of boats out there that are super cheap, faster building destroyers, build them on land, build them at thousands, put as much missiles and weapons out there. Hopefully that doesn't happen. This is our larger concept that we are building towards. Next slide. Next slide is our roadmap. We have a team from Intel, Tesla, Cruise, Rivian, every EV car company you could probably talk of. We have exited founders. Next slide. On team, we have a guy who created Cascade Motion, sold to Borg Warner. He runs us at the shop with us. Peter exited Boston Whaler and Hunt Yacht and Hinkley Yachts. Then we have 2 guys that created Fremont Factory Gen 1. One guy that was basically at every single EV car company as a vehicle dynamics engineer. And we're just getting our way in building. So that's us. And I appreciate the time. Thanks for inviting us. Capital Factory member. Thank you, Nick and Wynn, for bringing us in. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Richard. Very excited to be working with you. Very excited to ride on the boat one day. Awesome.
Down to December.
All right, I'll be there. First one. All right, moving right along. This next company was introduced to us by Zach at Sigma Genetics. Luis brought him in from Dallas, Texas. I want to welcome Mohammed from Talos Biotech. Welcome.
Enzo.
Yeah, I had bad notes. I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure being here introducing Talos. Next slide, please. It's a spin-off from UT Southwestern in Dallas, and basically, in a nutshell, we have developed an anti-aging technology that can rejuvenate the cells by safely lengthening the telomeres, and I'll tell you more in a bit, but we want to employ our technology initially to increase the efficacy of cell and gene therapy. And in fact, the current problem with cell and gene therapy is that the older are the cells of the patient used to manufacture this therapy, the lower is the performance of these cells. And today, around 50% of older people don't respond well to cell and gene therapy. Next slide, please. So I mentioned our technology is meant at lengthening the telomeres. Just want to refresh your memory about what telomeres are and why they are important. So if you look at the left panel, the telomeres are this protective structure at the end of our chromosome, and they become shorter and shorter every time a cell divides. And eventually, the telomere become too short to protect our chromosomes, and our cell becomes senescent, so they stop dividing. And the natural consequence of this, as you can see on the right panel, is that our telomere becomes shorter and shorter as we age. And our previous publications show that the shorter the telomeres of our cells, the lower is the performance of our cells. And so this could be particularly relevant for cell and gene therapy because it's our cells that become the therapy. Next slide, please. So very briefly on cell and gene therapy, the process is to collect the cells from the patient, most of the time from blood, and then these cells need to be reprogrammed, for example, to target cancer or to do a specific function for regenerative medicine purpose, and then these cells need to be expanded and then ultimately reinfused back into the patient where they can now, for example, attack cancer or for regenerative medicine purpose. And our data show that during the process of expanding these cells ex vivo, the telomeres of these cells become critically short, and these affect the cell performance and longevity. And so, next slide, please. So our strategy is to address this telomere shortening. Next slide, please. And so we have developed Telovance, which is basically a purified human recombinant telomerase enzyme. This enzyme is able to lengthen telomeres, but the caveat is that it's very poorly expressed in our cells. So our strategy is to produce and purify it, and then we deliver it inside the cells. Telovance rapidly extend the telomeres, then it gets degraded naturally, but this is sufficient to rewind the biological clock of the cells and increase their lifespan and performance. Next slide, please. I don't know why these data are not properly shown, but it's okay. So what you see in these three panels are our proof of concept data, where we basically manufacture these cell therapies in-house and confirm that Telovance can extend the telomere length, can improve the number of cells produced during manufacturing, and it can also increase the performance of these cells. And so after we collected our proof of concept data, we reach out to biotechs and pharmas to collaborate. Next slide, please. We're now collaborating with many biotechs and pharma. The concept is that these companies own the technology to manufacture and produce cell therapies, and we own the technology to rejuvenate the cells and improve their performance. So we are collaborating across the whole space of cell and gene therapies, from like immune cells, and they're using oncology or autoimmune diseases, to like stem cells, and they're using regenerative medicine. Next slide, please. Just a brief history of the company. We have raised around $3 million from VCs for our pre-seed and seed. And on top of that, we won an almost $3 million grant from CPRIT. The one of you who are familiar with CPRIT, you need matching funds to unlock this grant. And so now we're targeting a $2 million raise. We have already obtained a term sheet from a lead investor, and we're looking for a co-lead or follow-on investors. And the main goal of our fundraise is to commercialize our reagent Telovance by securing revenue-generating partnerships with the pharmas and biotechs that we're currently collaborating with. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you, Enzo. We're going to keep it on the biotech note for a little bit. This next company we met at Nucleates Demo Day, also in from Dallas, Texas, I think connected with UT Southwestern up there as well, brought in by Drew Yashar. I'm here to welcome, and I hope you'll welcome as well, Manuel from Music Bio. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. All righty. Hey y'all, my name is Manny, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Music Bio, where we're using ultrasound to get the right drugs to the right place and in the body at the right time. Next slide, please. what we're doing is we are trying to deliver treatments to these right spots in the body, mainly because of a real pressing problem in clinical trials. You see a lot of companies, what really grinds their gears is that you'll have these promising treatments that fail in clinical trials just because of these biological barriers that prevent them from reaching the right cells. In fact, large pharma companies like Genentech believe that if you can't deliver these drugs to the right cells in the body, you really don't have a drug that could treat patients. Next slide, please. And so what we're doing is we've developed this technology called MSQ, which is made up of a microbubble. It's a gas-filled microbubble that responds to ultrasound waves, but it has these antibodies that can target specific cells in the body and a linker that can load different kinds of drugs to those cells. We've demonstrated this technology's capabilities across various applications and studies, with some here listed on the slide. Mainly, we've shown a 20-fold improvement in targeting the right cells in the body versus our competitors. And the way we do that is on the next slide. What we call a two-factor authentication for drug delivery, where the microbubbles bind to the right cells using the antibodies, but only when you pulse with a clinical ultrasound scanner found in any hospital around the world, you can then burst the microbubbles, temporarily opening these biobarriers and releasing the drugs precisely at the space that you wanted. Next slide, please. It looks like the figures are not working here, but this would have been a data slide where we can show 100% complete response rate across these different indications in cancer. So we had some data that we could validate our program and technology. We saw 100% tumor-free mice when we did a combination therapy delivering a specific drug with immune checkpoint inhibitors, compared to just 14% when we used the current clinical standard of care today. So massive improvement in melanoma mouse models. When we looked at metastatic triple-negative breast cancer, a type of cancer that has a very low rate of survival with no effective treatments today, we saw it trained the immune system when we did this delivery to find and kill metastatic sites, thus improving survival rates by 76% over what's being currently used in the clinic today. Next slide, please. And while we're focusing in on these two indications in oncology that are extremely tough, where they have low survival rates and no effective treatments today, we also found some early data in targeting the blood-brain barrier, meaning that we can target the brain, specific regions of the brain, and non-invasively to open those barriers to deliver drugs to precise sites, meaning that we can deliver gene therapies like ASOs to treat Huntington's disease versus what's being currently tested in the clinic, which is sticking a needle in your brain after 12 to 18 hours of delicate brain surgery. Not really nice. And so our key activity is to advance our pipelines in oncology and neurodegenerative diseases to IND-enabling studies. But because our platform is so versatile, we can deliver different drugs, target different tissues, and control release using ultrasound. We can actually expand into different pipelines and indications as we aim to become a leader in the drug delivery space through partnerships, by looking at other pharmaceutical companies with assets that are either too toxic or too ineffective to be delivered on their own. This creates a potential partnership revenue stream in the near term while we advance our assets to the clinical pipeline. Next slide, please. So what we're doing is leveraging a non-dilutive funding strategy to de-risk venture investment. We've developed a technology with over $2 million over at UT Southwestern in the academic labs. We're currently in the diligence stage for a $3 million CPRIT grant that Enzo was just talking about, with 100% funding rate at this stage. Of course, it has a $1.5 million matching funds requirement, so we're raising $2 million in dilutive capital to supplement this grant and advance our programs into IND-enabling studies. Next slide. Our team is, with me and my co-founder, we have several years of experience in the drug delivery space using ultrasound. I myself have several years of experience taking organizations from the ground up and building them into a global entity with minimal resources as the EVP of operations at Nucleate. We're backed by an amazing board of advisors that covers the science, regulatory side, clinical side, and business side, and as well as amazing support from foundations and Capital Factory right here in Austin, Texas, helping us to support. We have CDMOs and a CMC consultant ready to execute on our manufacturing scale-up, and we have a letter of support for a clinical stage partnership with Bracco, who are known to make these microbubbles for clinical assets. Thank you. My name is Manny, and come talk to me if you want to learn how we use sound science to break biological barriers for drug delivery.
Thank you, Manny. Just the doctor ordered. Very interesting. We're really leaning into the CPRIT funding, and we feel like that's a great opportunity for us to add value in the ecosystem. Excited to work with both those companies to help round out that award. All right, moving right along, we have another company here in Austin. I see him on the 16th floor every day. I'm here pretty early. He's here always earlier than me. Introduced to us by our mentor, Rudy Moran. Here to tell us about his company is Muhammad from Shab. Welcome, Muhammad.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think I met many people here. This make me less stressed. So my name is Muhammad. I'm the founder of Shab, and simply we are bring the concierge back to the hotels after the AI. Today, the guests, when traveling and going to the new city, they're searching for the restaurants or anything they want around the city. And they are using multiple platforms to do that. But if we think about the hotels take the data of their guests for years, and they have a huge of the data about the guests. They are the best provider recommendation to their guests, but they are losing every transactions outside the hotels to the third parties. And if they are using the data that they have in the right way, they can provide the tool to their guests for anything they need around the city, and it will be very, very customized to the guest based on all the data, and the feedback they took from the guest or the previous guest. So, next please. So we can create AI concierge and mini marketplace is curated by the hotel, and all the partners or the stores inside this mini marketplace is selected, trusted by the hotel, and everything the guests need in this in this mini marketplace, and they can talk with the AI concierge for anything they need. And it's not only recommendation, but booking, ordering, anything they can do with just talking with this AI concierge. From the guest side, they will have a mini marketplace for everything they need, and most of the partners, they will offer some discounts or offers for the guest because they need to have access to the Marriott guest. They need to have access to Hilton guest. So they will provide discount, and for the guest, they will have everything they need with discounts. And from the hotel side, this marketplace will be free for them. There is no cost. They don't need to hire any team for that. We will do everything, and they will earn 10% for every transaction from this marketplace instead of losing those revenue to the third party. So the business model is very simple. The hotel will be zero cost for them, and they will earn 10%. For the merchant or the partner, they will pay 15% for every transaction. And we, as a company, we will gain 5% for every transaction, and we will do this marketplace for the hotel. The market size let's talk on Texas. Texas have 1,300 hotels that the average rate of the night is more than $100. That means it's around 150,000 new guests every day for only those hotels. So it's a big opportunity, and we are the first mover of this industry. Yeah, well, but why the guest using ChatGPT, or they will use OpenTable or Uber Eats? Because actually here it will be very customized to them, and it will have offers and discounts especially to them, and they can book and order in one platform. They don't need to move to another platforms. We did the validation. We talked with many general managers from many hotels. Actually, during our validation, we met the team of Omni Hotel with the help of Morgan. Thank you so much. and they are interested to be the first client with us, and they ask for the third meeting to close this deal. And actually, we are not for this client. We have 10% pending for product development, but we are a small team, passionate team, and we have high experience on this industry. We asking for 1 million for pre-seed round, but we also asking to be ready for the first client and to finalize this product. We asking for anyone, if they know a technology partner or technology company, just to help us to finalize the product, and we will offer equity. We will be thankful for that, and this will be a huge support. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Mohammed. Moving right along, close this out. We have a company that came in, met us here at Supernova in 2025, the Austin version, flew in today from California to tell us about Jump Arrow. I want to welcome Carl. Welcome, Carl.
Thanks so much. All right, my name is Carl Dietrich. I'm the founder and CEO of Jump Arrow. Jump Arrow is making the fastest all-electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft in the world, and drones too, to help first responders get to the scene of rural emergencies addressing EMS and defense industries. About 3 months ago, the Department of War now created the Drone Dominance Initiative, allocating $22 billion to make the United States a leading player in the drone world. We've got a long ways to go. Now, Jump Arrow, as part of our manned eVTOL development, has been working for the past 6 years developing our own proprietary software stack, because you need that to make a manned aircraft where you know every line of code that's in there. That's a strategic advantage in the drone space, because most drone companies base their software on open source platforms. So when we learned about the Drone Dominance Initiative, we said, hey, we've been doing drones for the past 6 years to develop our flight control software. Now's the time to jump in. Next slide. Our first product is called the SCAR drone. The SCAR drone is the single fastest, smallest $10,000 ISR drone in the world. What this gives the warfighter is the ability to see over the mountain and get eyes on target faster than anything, and do it outside of artillery range. We've been out in Ukraine. This is one of the big issues that they have out in the battlefield right now, is these drones, generally speaking, are very short-range vehicles for the same reasons that was pointed out before. With our vehicles, high lift-to-drag ratio, we can get it out there, get it eyes on target, long range, even though it's all electric, faster than anything else. Next slide. Highly differentiated in the drone space. This is really key. There are so many players. It's so easy to make a tiny drone. But what you need to do is target the mission very specifically. Our SCAR drone will fold up and you could fit a dozen of them in a rucksack, right? Next slide. So in addition to the unique capabilities of high-speed dash, low weight, low cost, this software stack that we've been developing for the past 6 years really does give us the sort of security that the DoD is looking for in all of these new drone platforms that they're looking to field. Next slide. Our team has been in the advanced air mobility space for 2 decades. This is my second venture. My first company was called Terrafuji, founded in 2006. It was acquired by a major global automotive company in 2017. I stayed on for a couple years post-acquisition, setting up global R&D. We've been down this road on manned eVTOL aircraft, and all the time we always use drones to prove out that technology. So this is an area that we've been working in for a long time. We know the rules. Our team is writing standards that are being used for compliance in the manned aviation world. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we started the company with the idea of getting a first responder to the scene of a rural emergency as fast as possible. We're still working on that. It's being funded partially by the Air Force. Our full-scale prototype is under construction right now, And we have orders from the largest first response company in the world. It's a company called Falk, based in Denmark. They do 9 million EMS operations every year, including in 24 countries, including right here in the United States. So we're not only playing in the drone space, we're also in the much larger manned eVTOL space. By 2030, we're expecting Jump Aero to be the leader in rapid response eVTOL and drone applications around the globe. Next slide. Focusing in on the next 12 months with the investment that we're looking for right now, we're looking to deliver our first SCAR drone to the US Army and fly our first full-scale aircraft. Next slide. We've raised $8.4 million. We've won $3.6 million in AFWERX contracts. And we're raising a $7 million round to integrate our software stack with the Army's UVC, unmanned vehicle control system, and get our first full-scale aircraft into the air. Thank you for this opportunity.
All right, thank you, Carl from Jump Aero. Closing us out, we have a company we met through Techstars LA. We have quite a few companies over the last few years that have joined from that program. Very interesting. And yeah, flown in from today is Tayo from Lola Vision Systems. Welcome, Tayo.
Woo! Awesome, awesome. Please don't judge me how I'm dressed. My clothes are somewhere between DC, Atlanta, and here. But just an excuse, because I probably would have dressed like this anyway. But yeah, so founder of Lola Vision Systems. I am making AI chips, not the chips that you eat, the chips that are going into these electronics. A lot of colleagues might actually be interested, but the type of chips we make are for mission critical applications. So these are things that need to operate quickly and with a high degree of accuracy. Next slide. Our team is made up of folks in the autonomous driving industry, software from Synopsys, where I used to work. I spent 3 years there as an IP processor IP sales leader. This includes like the CPU cores that are in your laptops. Like I used to sell those to Intel and all these other guys in the semiconductor industry. I'm also joined by Jordan Page, who is key because he comes from the defense background, built tanks and all other defense hardware applications. So I'm not here to really talk to you a lot about the market size. It is ginormous. I myself have sold into companies like NVIDIA, so I actually know what IP is inside of those chipsets, which gives me a little bit of an advantage because of that. But the type of chips we want to do is going to provide a lot of performance per watt gain. And next slide, please. And so why is this crucial? All of the hardware that is currently in systems running any kind of AI model needs to be refreshed. Why that is because to get an increase in performance efficiency, which is basically the performance divided by the power consumption, you need to change the hardware to get the improvements. And there's just not enough options right now available. Outside of NVIDIA, if you don't know, Qualcomm, like the list starts to dwindle very fast. And with the upcoming situation in Taiwan and Russia, there's just gonna be an explosion of demand with these autonomous defense systems. Next slide. So what we're doing internally is we have a configuration platform to create chiplets. So we take a monolithic chip, we break it down into pieces like Lego blocks, and each block is something that's gonna be in our library. And when we wanna make a chip, next slide, we'll just first define what the requirements are for that chip at a system level, and then we'll configure by just matching up the right set of blocks, and we'll be able to deploy. And the reason why this is important is because now a process that takes 2 to 3 years can be done in 6 to 9 months, saving an incredible amount of time, incredible amount of energy and cost. Next. So our first 2 chips we're gonna be targeting is for unmanned ground vehicles as well as FPV drones. These devices are gonna be able to run the AI software that does object recognition, semantic segmentation, which is just a fancy word for piecing out the scene in real time, and still be quantum secure. So you think about a defense system under enemy lines, if something drops, you want to be able to zero that thing out and protect against even quantum level penetration attacks. Next slide. So we're not building for the data center. That's not my target. I'm not trying to jump at that $4 trillion beast. What we're doing is for the edge. And what's going to allow us to be differentiated is in our performance efficiency, which buries down into cost, as well as the security that's meant for these mission critical systems. We're selling SoCs though. At the end of the day, these are just full chips with the chiplets integrated into one substrate. And we will be able to license chiplets to other companies that want to be able to build them. We've talked to primes that also have their own silicon chip design ecosystems, and they are also interested in this. Next. So why we win? Rapid development, cost efficiency, purpose-driven hardware. Now, the one thing that we also have to think about is electromagnetic warfare and how they will operate out there in contested environments. So we're talking about RF jammers that also create GPS-denied environments. This is where our chips will live and operate best. We have a CRADA with NSWC Crane that allows us to test this out into the field, and we're positioning this test for Silent Swarm, which is in June of next year. So we need to raise $2.5 million at least to be able to get us prepared for that demonstration with NSWC Crane. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Tayo, for wrapping this up there. That's our presentation for today. How about one more round of applause for the founders who presented? Thank you so much. Thank you. Remember, try to make one intro. We'd love to do that for you. For those of you who signed up to meet a founder, you should know about it. We're going to move into the one-on-one meetings. They're going to basically be on the other side of this wall, so you can curl around the kitchen and you'll see your room. If you need help finding the person you're supposed to meet with, I can help you. Anyone on the Capital Factory team can help you. Real quick, before we start those meetings, all the founders just come up to the stage. We're going to do a group picture with the team, and we're going to start happy hour. Thanks, y'all. See you in December. First look.